Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Iyad Murtada from Open Thinking, and today we have a very interesting presentation related to auditing social media. This is the second part of the presentation related to auditing social media. So in the first section, we discussed, about the principles of auditing social media. And many of you went over, all the details about, how it's important to have a strategy related to social media, how it's important to really define the plans for the strategy, understand, what activities need to be done. So let's go over an overview of what we discussed last time, and after that, we are going to discuss some important concepts. So as we discussed before, this course is based on a very interesting book called Auditing Social Media, a Governance and a Risk Guide, and this published by the IIA Research Foundation, and it's written by Peter Scott and Mike Jacka. So the main concept when we were speaking about auditing social media, for us as internal auditors, it's not our responsibility to create the strategy for social media inside the organization. Maybe it's the responsibility of the marketing department, or maybe it's the responsibility of the PR department. What is our responsibility in the organization to ensure that the social media strategies that are built inside the organization are, number one, is what? Is supporting the business, is actually adding value to the business, and it's not just wasting resources. So this is responsibility number one. Why we are responsible for this? Because in front of the board of directors, we need to ensure and to provide assurance to them that what's happening in the social media activities inside the company is actually adding value to them and is done according to the policy and the procedure that's set by the organization. And from that perspective, we come as internal auditor and do social media auditing. Now, the first thing we need to understand what kind of activities that we are going to go and look at and see if the organization first is doing, and after that we see if actually they are doing it in the right way. Last time we discussed that we have 5 main activities that organization usually needs to do, and they are listening. So we discussed last time, listening is all about companies. They need to be able to listen to what customers are saying about them, about their executives, about their brands, their products, as well as we need to listen about what customers they are speaking about other products related to our competitors, or they are speaking about the industry in general. So we'll be able to understand and utilize that in our strategies. So this is number one. And we discussed last time clearly that listening is all about having the right monitoring tools for us to be able to get alerts when anyone is mentioning our name in social media, in any website, so that we will be able to understand what people are talking about us actually. And after that, we spoke about responding. And responding, it comes to after we listen and understand that these customers are upset or these customers are happy, what are we going to do? How are we going to respond to them? Do we have the appropriate strategies and tools for us to respond to them, for us to be able to communicate with them, to have a conversation? And at that point, we discussed it's really important for the company to respond in the right way and to have the right people to respond to the message. Because having the wrong person or responding really late after the accident happened or after big issue happened, or responding in the wrong way may cause harm to the organization. Then we said after that, after we listen and respond, what we need to do? Well, it's really important. We need to learn. It's very important for us to learn from our mistakes. So whatever happened in any situation happened, we really need to come and learn and say, okay, this is what happened last time. We discovered that customers came to our stores and we don't have a stock. So in that way, they were upset and they were speaking to their friends. We hate this shop because they don't have the products. So now we learn from that and we ensure that this is not going to happen. Even now we can use social media to announce when we have a new delivery, please come and get it. So now it's all about listening, responding, and learning for us to be more proactive rather than reactive on social media. And then after we discuss about the concept of measuring, it's really important for us to measure the effect. If we have so many fans on Facebook, what's the meaning of it? Are we actually generating money from that? Or it's just like, it's very cool that we have a lot of fans. And if we have Twitters and people are retweeting our tweets, or we have YouTube and people are subscribing, or we are getting more likes, are there any financial benefit? What about the return on investment? How much are we actually generating in sales on our bottom line? And in our brand online? Are we really increasing the value of our brand? Are we really making more connection with customers? So we are improving the relationship with the customer. So we need to measure it on the financial aspect and on the non-financial aspect to ensure that we are actually getting benefit from implementing these social media activities. And finally, which is very important, sharing. We need to share with customers, our success stories. We need to share with the customers our thoughts about the futures, our thoughts about what can happen, what is really important for our company, for them. So in that way, we can get some feedback from them. We can be able to understand, what is their perspective, their opinion. So in that way, we work with them together and have this conversation to understand what we need to bring to the future. So these are the social media activities that, your company needs to be working on. And the most important thing, they need to have what? This is what I call it. First, they need to have a strategy. Then they need to have a plan that will make the strategy happen. Then they need to execute this plan. And after that, they need to measure the results. So, there are so many aspects that we can come as auditors and ensure that is it actually happening in the right way or not. So let me go over some important, information and facts about social media. The first thing, many social media strategies are not aligned with the business objectives. And this is completely true. When you go and look at what is the strategy of social media and what is the business objective. So I go and examine a bank. And in this bank, the bank is saying, we want to have more connection with our customers to understand their financial needs. And after that, you go and see on social media, they are trying to go more and promote their products on social media. They are trying more to introduce that we have the lowest interest rate, that they are trying more to say, we are the best bank in this ranking based on this award that we won. And they are ignoring completely the main message of the business. So the first thing for us as internal auditors, if you remember the concept of IT governance. What is IT governance? IT governance is all about the first concept in IT governance. It's all about aligning the IT objective with the business objective. So when we are trying to implement social media strategy, when we are trying to implement social media objective, this objective should be aligned with the business objective. So in that way, we can deliver the result that we want. Look at so many campaigns related to cars. When a car is trying to introduce, when an automobile company is trying to introduce a new car, they have a very direct strategy. They say, our business objective is to generate more sales for this new car. So what we are going to do, we are going to implement the right social media strategy for us to promote this car, the new features, create buzz around it. And after that, after putting YouTube videos, after having Facebook, page for this car and fans for this car, and after having so many people tweeting about this car, we will be able to see the result, how many new purchases are happening for this car. Aligning this social media strategy with the business objective is really important. This is the first step that we look at, because if we have this right social media strategy that's aligned with the business objective, we will be able to achieve, or at least guarantee that we are working toward achieving the business objectives. Second thing, social media is a compliance issue. This is really, really, really critical. How many of you, you have in your company a policy saying social media is not allowed? Facebook, please, you can answer in the question and answer, and I will be able to see your answers. How many in your companies they are saying social media is not allowed? Facebook is not allowed. You can type what kind of tools are not allowed. Is Twitter allowed in your company? Are you allowed to use Twitter? Are you allowed to use YouTube? Are you allowed to use Facebook? So see, these are critical things. People are saying, no, for sure companies are not going to allow us to use Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and all this, because we are wasting time. The main issue is focusing on the work that we are going to be doing. But are we really living in the industrial age, or are we living in the modern age? When companies are stopping employees from using Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and all these other tools on the computer that they are working on, or on the network of the company, what's happening actually? Employees, they are just taking their cell phone, and on the side, they are checking everything they want. They have access to Facebook, to LinkedIn, to Twitter, and they're spending more time doing that. Many people, they tell me that, I like to call it social smoking. Some people, they like to go downstairs to have actual smoke. For me, having this 5 minutes or 3 minutes with my friends on Facebook, I feel like it's socializing online, and it will make me feel like a little bit relaxed from this pressure that I have in work. So, we need to understand that social media is a compliance issue. This should not be a compliance issue anymore. Social media should be an opportunity for companies to create more collaboration. It's all about allowing the employees to use social media toward achieving the goals of the organization, which is sharing more information and having more connection between the people who are there. And please don't make it formal. I remember in one of the companies that we were working with, what happened? People, they were using social media like Facebook and Skype and Twitter, and they were just chatting with each other when they have an issue. So let's say you are working as an internal auditor and you are examining cash and you have some activity and you would like to ask another manager that you worked with before about this issue. So you go quickly on Facebook and you quickly send a message saying, what is this issue? And the guy is immediately online, he will reply to you. So in that way, you don't have to give him a call or send him an SMS, which is a very easy and convenient way. Well, the company noticed that so many of these employees are doing that, and they said, wow, this is very important for them because they are communicating using these ways, but it's not secure. They are using Facebook and they are using all these other tools. So what we are going to do, we are going to block all these tools and we are going to create our own software, and now all the employees, they need to be online on it and they need to chat on it. What do you think happened in that situation? The first thing happened, people are very upset because now they can't get access to all these social media websites. Second, people, they hated that they need to be online and everyone can chat with them on the company software, because now they can't be as much as productive because everyone is trying to stop their work. And the final thing, no one started asking questions. Everyone stopped. They decided not to ask questions using this platform. So it's really important to understand, if you want to make social media a compliance issue, this is your choice inside the company. But for us as internal auditors, we need to make the company aware that it's not about making social media a compliance issue. It's about making social media an opportunity for them to be able to connect with the employees in a much better way. At the same time, the focus is on social media tools rather than a well-defined strategy. This is very important. People will say, should we blog? Should we have an email, an SMS? How many Facebook pages we need to have? Should we have a group? Should we have hashtags? All this information, all these tools, all these tactics. And again, what we need to go back to the management and tell them, guys, you need to understand, it's about the strategy. It's about the objectives. It's not about having so many fans on Facebook. It's not about having Twitter hashtag people are talking about. It's about having a strategy, and based on the strategy, you can define what kind of tools you are going to use. You can define what objectives you need to have, and you can change them over time. But if you don't have a strategy, if you are focusing on the tools and you are focusing, should I use this new software? Should I do it this way? Should I do it that way? You are going to really lose the track and forget what is the big strategy, forget what is the objective, what you are trying actually to achieve. Again, it's very important to understand that social media is an engagement tool. Look at this. I really like this picture. It looks like on social media, what we are doing, we are just talking, and we don't want to listen. We are talking about our new product. We are talking about a new department. We are talking about what happened, about news, about we are retweeting what other people talked about. We are sending all these messages and putting pictures and having all these videos. But if we just stop a little bit, relax, and start listening to our customers, see what they are saying, get some comments from them, make them talk about us rather than just leaving ourselves talking about ourselves. Communicate with them. Understand, what actually they want us to speak about. Understand how can we open a conversation with them? How can we have it, as a way to engage them with us rather than just for us to talk to them. So it's really important to go back to your social media department and ask them, how are you engaging your customers? How are you engaging not your just customers? How you are engaging your managers, your employees, your customers, your stakeholders, all the people who are involved with your company in the discussion, in the conversation. How you are making them part of it rather than just listeners. So it's really important as well to understand that social media is an engagement tool. And it's very important to understand that it's not a technology, it's a relationship. When people are going and using social media, they think, oh my God, it's so much technology. We need to understand all these tools. We need to put, yes, that's right. Technology is supporting what? Supporting the connection, supporting the relationship building. But it's not about the technology. It's not about having all these Facebook and pages and no. It's understanding how can we establish this relationship with the customers? How can we establish this relationship with the employees? How can we connect with them? How can we make them listen to us? How can we listen to them? Like any other relationship, it's all about what? It's all about having the value. What kind of value I'm offering my people who are connected with me on all these social media platforms? Is it something that they are going to waste 1 minute for them to be able to listen, to look at, and to have a conversation with me? Or are they going to ignore me? So by focusing on the relationship, you will much be able to understand how can you have the appropriate strategy rather than just focusing on the technology. At the same time, some people, they say, we can ignore social media. And this is a very nice quote. Say, we don't have a choice on whether we do social media. The question is, how will we do it? So always when we think about social media, the question is about not should we do social media? Should we have Facebook? Should we have Twitter? It's all about more to what extent social media will be used. To what extent are we going to go and do this? How much effort are we going to put on this channel, this tool, this technology, the strategy compared to the other strategy? It's all about having a strategic way of doing it rather than saying we are going to do it or not. So there is no way for you to say, our company, they don't need social media, but it's very important to understand on how much focus we need to have on each strategy related to social media. And it's really important to understand that social media is not free. People, they think, oh, social media, yeah, do you know what we can do? In our marketing department, we have Mary or Suzanne or Khaled. They are not doing anything. Why don't we give them our Facebook account and tell them every day to update it for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, spend on it, and just put some news, some information. And yes, when we have new events, we need to get these pictures and upload them. And when we as when launch new products, we need to put this. For sure, when the board of directors they meet, we need to take some photos and put them there. This is not the correct way. First, we don't have defined strategy. Second, we need to understand that we need to create a budget item in our budget and say how much are we going to spend on social media this year. Social media is not free. You need to have the dedicated person in the organization who got the knowledge, who got the understanding to do it in the right way, and at the same time who got the time. Time is very important for him to publish the messages in the right time, to have them published in the right way, and at the same time to have money to spend on social media, because it's correct, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all these LinkedIn, they are free, but as well as there are so many other tools that can optimize your use of social media, and they will cost some money. So we need to understand how much investment are we willing to put there. Are we gonna go and have some paid ads? Sure, yeah. Are we gonna go and invest some of our money for us to attract new customers? Maybe. So in that case, we need to really focus on how much are we actually gonna allocate. And then the most important thing is what? Is saying how much return are we gonna get from it. So social media is not free. It's going to cost us money, but what about the investment that we are going to put in? How much return we are going to get? So when we look at the history of social media, and this is a very interesting diagram, when we look at what happened with social media, we can see the idea that came long time ago in 2001, and a new idea to make what? To make the encyclopedia that we used to get on CDs, like the Encarta, if you remember, long time ago. We get this CD or 10 CDs, and it's like encyclopedia about everything that you need to learn, and you have it there. So what happened? The concept came, rather than having experts creating this encyclopedia and you have it in your pocket or on your computer, what can happen? You can go online and you can have all the users all over the world working together to create user-generated content. So in that way, no one owns this content, and as well as it's free to everyone. So social media started, it's all about the ability of having the masses share knowledge, share ideas, and connect with each other. And after that, there are so many website came, like WordPress, that said what about having people publish their own personal blogs. You have YouTube came and speaking about the videos, why not allowing people to publish their own videos online. After that, why not allowing people to have their own pages over the internet, like MySpace. And after that, Facebook, why don't you have your own personalized page that will represent your personal page or the organization page, and have people like it and connect together. And after that, we have Twitter, where people can have real-time communication together. And after that, moved more to professional networking and having website where they have content, where people will be able to go and share all this content. And after that, looking at photos become very important for people to be able to have photos and share photos over the web. And now, what we are looking at? We are looking at all this. People are sharing now videos, photos, messages. They are sharing personal information, business information, content. They are sharing information. So what we need to do, we need to break out of this clutter. We need to understand, when we are trying to communicate with the masses, when we are trying to communicate with our customers, when we are trying to communicate with our stakeholders, we need to understand, like we discussed in the last webinar, who are our audience, what is the objective, and as well as the strategy that we need to implement for us to achieve this objective. So it's very important to understand what content we need to have. Is it unique? Is it meeting the objective and expectations of the audience that we are communicating with? These are very important, questions that we need to ask ourselves before we publish things on our Facebook, just for, keeping our Facebook page updated. So I like this slide. It's really nice. It's speaking about 36 rules of social media. And I'm not going to read all of them, but I'm going to read some of them. It's really interesting. These are some of the rules. And of course, social media rules are changing over time, but these are some of the rules that you need to be aware of when we are trying to examine the social media strategy of your company. So rule number 1 is saying, if all you do is responding to complaints, that's all people will send you. So you need to understand that on social media, people are going to start complaining and complaining. I don't like this. Where are my photos for the last event? Why you are not responding to my messages? My product is not working. You need to understand that you should not spend 100% of your time just dealing with these people. You need to try to take them out of this negative way of talking to the positive way of talking. You need to try to encourage people to have positive comments. Don't make your social media channels just a way for people to complain, a way for people to send negative messages to you. Another one, I really like it. Number 2, stop and ask, would an actual person talk that way? I really love this. When I follow so many websites related to social media, I can see people, they are talking in a very weird way. And the first question you need to ask yourself when you are trying to look at the messages that your company are sending through social media, if you are an actual human being working on Facebook, would you say this to your friend? So would you say to your friend, we have a very fantastic car, this is the car of ever, please come and buy it now, it's on discount? No, you just say, well, check out this car, it looks really nice. So you need to understand that the way that we communicate these messages on social media is very important, because people, they don't want to feel that you are tricking them or you are speaking with them in a weird way. I like also number 3. Everyone say they don't want to be marketed to. Really? They just don't want to be talked down to. So you need to understand that on social media, it's right, you should not spend 100% of your time pushing messages and marketing your products. You should have open conversation with the customers. But please don't forget to market your product. Don't forget to push a little bit your offerings. You should not talk down to people and making them feel like, they are forced to buy your product or they have to buy your product, but just, try to explain to them why you have a unique product, what is the unique offering that you have, and communicate with them indirectly using social media. It's really useful. Another one that I like, number 6, don't try to be clever. Be clever. Some people, they try to very much on social media. They have this picture and they put something on top of it, and after that they have so many comments, and they have so just be clever. Don't try to trick people on social media. Don't try to appear that you are really so smart by putting a form. And I like this. Some people, they on their Facebook, they say, for you to be able to see what's on our page, you need to click like. Well, actually, I can just go directly to their page and I don't need to click like to see it. So don't try to be clever. Just be clever. Just tell people, if you like what you are seeing, just say like. So it's really important to have that. Number 7 is very interesting. Social is 27, not one time. Start. What's the meaning of it? You need to understand, it's not about having one big picture, one big post on Facebook or on YouTube or whatever, or a viral message that everyone will like it and you have 10,000 followers, and then what? It's about having ongoing conversation, having ongoing messages, communicating with your customers all the time, not just one time, not having a campaign. There's a big difference in social media between traditional marketing. Traditional marketing, you will have a campaign and after that it's finished. Now you create another campaign. In social media, you need to understand that the campaign is ongoing. It's happening all the time. When you are launching the first campaign, the second campaign should be start already, because in that way it's ongoing conversation. Number 8 is really interesting. Always write back. What's the meaning always write back? When people are sending you a message on YouTube, on any Twitter, on Facebook, you need to reply to this message. You need to communicate with them. Don't ignore them, because they are trying to tell you something. They are trying to say, what happened about that issue? Or I really like this. Could you add more? Just reply to them. Say, yes, sure, we will do that. Or no, we can't do that. Because it's about conversation. It's about having, conversation with them. Number 9, I really like it. Have a ROI, have an ROI, have an ROI. What is ROI? Return on investment. Always say, how much are we spending on social media? How much, not money, how much money, time, and effort are we spending on social media? And how much return on investment are we getting? How much increase in sales we have because of our Facebook compared to our YouTube, compared to our Twitter, compared to our blog, compared to our SMS campaign, compared to all these tools that we are using. Without doing that, you will never understand the effect of social media on your actual marketing strategy. Number 14, I really like it. It's interesting, saying everyone's an influencer. Yes, and this is completely true. Your customers, if you have a customer and one of these customers is really important, let's say he's a millionaire and he got millions of people following him. If he liked what you said, if he followed your message, if he shared your message, it's going to be shared to thousands, maybe millions of people. So you need to understand, it's not just about you sharing the message. It's not just about you communicating this message. It's about having this message communicated to everyone, having this message shared by millions through your followers, through the people that are connected with you. And this is very important and very critical. And there are so many comments here. I'm not going to go over so many rules. I'm not going to go over all of them, but it's really interesting to share some of them. I'm just going to jump to go over more of these rules down here. Number 22, Desktop is a cornered territory. Mobile is the battlefield. This is completely true. You need to understand that currently, are we looking at Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and blogs using our laptops, using our computers? No. Most of the time, we are using our cell phone. We are using our tablets. So you need to have a really clear strategy for your organization to use these tools, and you need to understand, how can you send the right message that can be read in the right format on all these platforms. This is really important as well. Now, number 23 is interesting. If you don't see financial results, you wasted your money. That's completely true. If you go and decide to have a strategy on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, what they always say, do ABCD testing. What's the meaning ABCD testing? Well, you create a message, which is, we call it A. You create another message, which is different, we call it B. Another message which is different, we call it C. Another message which is different, we call it D. And now you send these 4 messages and you see which one is actually effective, which one is people are clicking on or they are responding to. And based on that, you understand which one you should continue with and which one you should ignore. And you do this with a very minimum budget, so that will assess for you before spending millions or spending thousands on your campaign. You just spend $100 and you evaluate which message is more effective, and after that you launch your campaign using that message or using that statement. This is a much better way for you to do business in social media. In social media, they always say it's all about testing. It's all about trying to understand what is going to work in the right way and then using it, not the opposite way, not using it and after that see if it's working or not. So it's really important. Number 33, I really like it. Your fans own your brand. For sure, 100%. People are like, what do you mean your fans own your brand? Think about it like this. If you have a Facebook page, if you have a Twitter account, if you have a YouTube channel, if no one is visiting that, if no one is liking your Facebook page, if no one is reading your tweets and following you and retweeting you, you don't exist on social media. You don't exist on the web. So having a company presence on social media without having followers, without having people who are gonna share and retweet and follow you, you have nothing. You have no brand. So it's really important to understand, how can I attract these people toward my company, not just to my products, toward my company, toward the messages that I'm communicating. If I'm speaking about how awesome is my brand, how amazing are my products, they are not interested in listening to me. But if I'm speaking about how amazing my brand can add to them, see, if I'm speaking about how awesome my product can make them be, now they are interesting. Now they want to speak with me. If they see that what I'm speaking about the benefit that they will get from my products. They look at the value that I can add to them. And in that way, they want to speak more about my product, because they feel, they are speaking about the benefit that they are getting rather than speaking about the product that I'm marketing. So always focus on that. Show them the value that they get and they will talk about you. But if you show them the features of your product that you are marketing, they will not be interested in speaking about it. Let's see here. 27. I like this. Don't use ads to prop up boring content. Use ads to accelerate successful content. You need to understand that it's not just about having your, I really like this example. Some people, they go and have their advertising, their bulletin board advertising, and they just take it and publish it on Facebook. And I'm like, what is that? If you have an ad in the newspaper, don't put it in Facebook. Maybe it's, you can put it somewhere on social media, one of your social media channels, but try to understand, you need to have a customized ads for social media. You can't just take any ad that you use it in TV, you use it somewhere, and after that you put it on social media and expect people to respond to it in the right way. So it's really important to understand that You need to have the right content, and you need to look at which content that is successful, and you accelerate the success of it over your social media strategy. This is really critical. Number 26, having a crisis plan. You need to have a crisis plan. You'll be like, what's the crisis plan? What's the meaning of it? What if someone said on Facebook that they went to your restaurants and they got poisoned and now they are in the hospital? What are you going to do? Do you have a crisis plan in case something happened, in case someone bought your products and your product harmed them? If someone used some of your services and they were upset, what are you going to do? Do you have a response plan? Do you have a plan that can respond to their issues in less than 24 hours, sometime in less than an hour? Because you don't want people to be spreading the word about your services or your product in a negative way. So it's really important to understand, how can I handle a situation like this? These are all important rules for us to learn. Again, we are just an auditors. We are not going to implement this. But your understanding of the rules of social media will help you when you are trying to do social media auditing, and make sure that these rules are in place inside your company, so people are implementing the social media strategy in the right way. Here more rules. Rule number 25. The only way to scale word of mouth is paid advertising. And here we come to a very important point. Many companies, they are very reluctant. They hesitate to implement social media strategy. After that, they say, okay, fine, just create that Facebook, just create that Twitter. Okay, let's spend some time and send some messages there. But when someone will say, why not spending some money on social media advertising? They were like, oh no, money? Why spending money? We are good like that. But it's really important to understand with social media, you can't spread the word about your channels. You can't get more followers. You can't have more influencers without spending money, without telling people who are relevant to you that you exist there, that these are the messages that you have, that this is what you are talking about. So you need to understand, if you want to really have the right strategy, you need to create in your plan how much money you are going to invest, and how you are going to invest it, and why, and what is the return that you are going to get. This is really important for you to be able to have this discussed with the board of directors about how much budget we are going to allocate to social media. Number 29, people don't want to shop where they socialize. This is very interesting. People, they go to Twitter, they go to YouTube, they go to blogs, they go to Facebook, they use all these other channels to socialize. They would like to speak, they would like to listen, but they don't want to find someone saying, hey, would you like to buy my products? So you need to understand that this is not maybe the place where you need to push for your product, to ask them to make a purchase, to ask them to make a decision. You need to more socialize with them, and after that, when they are thinking about buying something, they can communicate with you using other channels, or they can go to your website, or they can go to your store and make the purchase. So it's really important for you to understand, it's not a place where you can push for final decisions, but more to socialize, to build this relationship between you and the people around you. Number 30, contests and sweepstakes are fine if you want to encourage short relationships. So some people, they say, oh, like our page and you get this, that's completely fine for you. But remember, this will encourage a short relationship. I remember a very nice example related to that. An ice cream company, they were in the mall next to us, and they decided to create a new campaign for them to attract new customers. So look what they did. It's a very nice example. They went and they had an ice cream, and each ice cream is worth about $5. And they said, you can get our ice cream for free if you just come to our computer, log into your Facebook account, and like our page. So you can see lines. A lot of people are standing to have this ice cream. They just log into the computer, they go to their Facebook, they say, I like this ice cream, and after that, they take the ice cream and they eat it, and they are very happy. So I did this. I stood in the line and I ate the ice cream and I liked the Facebook. And after that, what I discovered that one of the guys standing next to me, he said, "Do you know what happened?" One of the guys from the company. I said, "No, what happened?" He said, "I don't believe that what we are doing is right." And I asked him why. He said, "Because what actually happened, we had about 1,000, 2,000 people on our Facebook, and we've been doing this campaign for a week. The number increased to about 8,000, 9,000, and after that dropped to 4,000." And I was like, "What? Why? What happened?" He said, "Very simple. People are coming to us. They are eating our ice cream. They are clicking, 'We like your Facebook page,' and after that, they are going home. They are saying, 'I unlike.' That's it. Even the ice cream is very good." but but actually people, they don't want anyone to push them to do something. If they like what you are offering, if they like your ice cream, they will go and say like if they want to. But if you are saying, if you will not get our ice cream until you say like, people are like, "Okay, fine, I will say like now and I will get the ice cream, and after that, oh, bye bye, I will say unlike." So you need to understand it's all about building a long-term relationship. You don't want people to unlike your page later. I think this is enough about some the rules related to social media. Now, what we discussed before, social media plan. You need inside the organization to have really the right plan. You need to have a very solid plan defining what? Defining the goals. What are our goals? And of course, before you start defining these goals and start being creative, start with the business objectives and goals. What are the business objectives and goals? What are we trying to achieve in business? From that, start thinking what kind of social media goals that we can implement for us to be able to help the organization in achieving its objectives. And after that, after we define the goals, we define, what the objectives that we need to achieve. We define the channels. Which channels in social media can help us in achieving this in a much better way? Should we use video channels? Should we use SMS? Should we use photos? Should we use blogs? Should we use Facebook? Should we use Twitter? We need to understand that we have so many channels. Each one got so many advantages, disadvantages, cost, or opportunities, and difficulties, risks. So we need to understand what is the most appropriate channel for us to achieve these objectives and goals. Then we discuss the engagement. How can we really actually achieve our objectives? By creating engagement, by building this engagement with our customers. Our customers should be speaking with us rather than speaking about us. They should engage in the conversation. We should make them our allies. We should make them part of our marketing team or of our social media team rather than just speaking about whatever they want. So how can we make them part of the team? And finally, we need to look at the results. What at the end, after doing all this, what are the results? Are we actually achieving the results that we want? Or we are just having so much fun, engaging with the customers, having these channels, achieving our goals. We got all these Twitters and we got all this and at the end, no one bought our products. And happened to so many companies. So many followers, so many positive comments. Everyone said we want to buy the products. Everyone said I'm going to the store, and no one went to the store. No one bought the product. Why? Always the question, why? What happened? After all this engagement, after all this push, after all this success, why people are not taking action? We need to understand the core. What is actually driving the behavior of people online, and how can we actually convert whatever they are saying or doing online to an actual business offline that they will go and they will actually buy the products. We achieve results. So now we are going to go and speak about social media risk. What are the issues? We discussed social media. We have so many opportunities, so many things that we can gain from social media, but as well as there are risks related to social media. And what are these risks? Well, the first thing is lack of strategy. And this is, the biggest risk. So many companies, they are so busy that they have no strategy. They just say, okay, you handle social media, you handle Facebook. Oh, we need Twitter, just create a Twitter. And just, they have no time to put a strategy saying, what we are going to launch tomorrow. How can we prepare the right message? They just go with the flow. So this is one of the biggest risks that they have related to social media. The second thing, like we discussed before, ignoring social media. They say, okay, social media is not actually important. I'm just going to ignore it. I'm going to say there are no social media. I don't like Facebook personally. I'm, of course, the board of directors. And what about all the board of directors? They are all old. No one is using social media. So no one is actually using social media. So let's ignore social media. And who cares about social media? What if we don't have fans on Facebook? So what is the big deal? We are still a market leader and we are marketing our product. There is a big danger here. If we ignore social media will not ignore us. Customers are going to be speaking about us even if we don't have a Facebook. So in that way, that will create a bigger danger, because rather than we speak about ourselves and send the right message, customer will send whatever message they want. Or what will happen? Not participating in social media. So what will happen? We just say, okay, let's see what customers are saying about us in social media, but we don't respond, we don't participate, we don't communicate. And what will happen if we don't communicate? If we don't communicate, is a conversation from one side. Customers are talking and we are not responding. And this is really dangerous. Because in that case, whatever customer will say, people will think is true. And this is not the case most of the time. At the same time, automating social media. I really like this. What's automating social media? They speak about robots. Robots, they are working on behalf of you in social media to send the messages. So many people, what they do, they buy software, and this software will automate the messages. So you go, you ask your marketing manager to create all the messages for the 365 days during the year. You schedule them in the software, and the software every 5 minutes will send a message saying, oh, welcome to our store, we have a new collection. And after that, our new collection is coming soon. And you have all these messages. And in social media, you can see directly at the bottom of each message that it's coming from a software. It's not coming from a human being. It's not coming directly from your page. So in that way, people will feel you are fake. You are automating the messages. You are not communicating with them. You are not speaking with them live. You are just faking the conversation. They know that you don't really care about having this conversation. You just have your message prepared, and you are just pushing this message to them just for you to have something on your page. It's not cool. It's not nice. People, they don't like it, and it appears very fake. So you need to understand, automating social media is not like you should not do it. Sometimes maybe, yes, maybe you can put some of the messages automated so you ensure that it's always communicated on time. But please make social media personal thing. It's all about speaking. You are not gonna have like messages on your cell phone and you say, "Hi, mom, how are you? I love you. I hope you enjoy your evening tonight." And you program your cell phone to call your mom and send this message at 8 p.m. Right? No one will do that. So why you are doing that on social media? Why you are communicating in this impersonal way? And the same thing, social media is all about measuring. If you have no measurement, if you are not measuring how many people they are on your Facebook, how many people are talking about your Facebook, they give you these two more important things. How many people are liking your page, how many people are talking about your page. On YouTube, if you don't know how many subscribers you have, if you don't know how many views you have, if you are not monitoring these basic things, and of course, there are more tools that your company can buy to monitor more advanced things about your social media. If you don't have measurement, you can't understand if they are working in the right way or if they are successful or not. So please understand, it's very important for you to go and implement this measurement inside your social media strategy. Lack of governance structure. We discussed last time about the governance structure, about having board of directors. They put the policy, they put the vision of what's going to happen, having the executive putting the plans, and after that the social media committee implementing or coordinating the implementation. You need to understand, without having the governance structure, without understanding who's responsible for social media, if we leave it open, marketing department will handle it, Joe will do it, Fuad will do YouTube, and Maha will work on Twitter. No, you can't. You need to have the right structure. You need to have a process. You need to have policy. You need to have people who are responsible for it, because at the end of the day, if we are not achieving our result, we need to speak with these people who are responsible and understand why. So it's very important to have the right governance structure. Not considering regulatory requirements. Social media, it looks like these three doors. When you are trying to understand what message you need to send, you come, should I say that? Should I say this? Now, what will happen? You go, you speak with the legal department. You send your messages to the legal department, and legal department, they need to go and make sure that you are meeting all this requirement. Well, by the time this process finished, your message is not relevant anymore. It's already old news. So you need to understand, you need to have this requirement up front there, saying that these are the messages that we can't communicate. These are the messages that are critical. This is the information that we can share. If you have that up front, so in that way, when we are creating our messages, we have certain guideline. We understand how we should create our messages in the right way. This is also very critical for us to have. No social media, a social networking policy. This is very interesting. Always, look at this guy, the policeman. If there is no policy, no one can, write a fine for you or punish you for anything. The same thing in your company. If you have no policy related to social media networking, related to what customers can do for you, related to what employees can do, related to what your partners can do, you can't punish them later. You can say you can do this or you should not do this. You need to have a policy. You need to define this policy. You need to say this is what is allowed, what is not allowed, please. You are not allowed to do this. You are allowed to do this, and to what extent. So it's really important for you to speak with the board of directors, with the audit committee, and make sure that there is a policy related to social media, explaining in details which social media tools we are using, which social networks we are using, and what are the do and don'ts on them. Inadequate training. I really love that. You go and say, let's go and implement social media strategy. Who's going to do it? Marketing department. We want social media strategy. And the lady who is sitting there to do social media strategy, she's already 52. And she got no Facebook account. She got no Twitter account. She got no understanding of social media. How can she implement social media? You go give her training. Maybe this is important, but you need to give her the right training. You need to understand that you need to hire the right people, not just hire any person and give him a training. You need to hire the right person and give this person the right training for them to be able to implement it in the right way. Because if someone is writing something in capital letter on social media, this is called yelling, screaming. You can't, like someone saying, it's important an announcement. He's like screaming if he would write in capital letter, important announcement. Be careful. You can write this maybe in an email. I don't know, but in social media, capital letter is really, really like you are yelling and screaming. So you need to understand the etiquette. How can you really communicate in social media? Another thing in social media, what about body language? You should, when you communicate with your customer, not appear you are angry or happy or excited or tired, because all these people can sense from the words, the sentences that you write. So appropriate training can really help in making sure that the messages that you are sending are sent in the right way. Finally, like we discussed last time, you need to have social media audits. And when you are speaking about social media audits, you can have social media governance audit, which is focusing what? Focusing on, do we have the right governance? Do we have the right structure? You can have social media strategy. When you go and you see, is the strategy actually related to social media aligned with the business objectives or not? After that, we look at social media plan. And we say, what about the plan? Is the plan is actually going to help us in achieving the social media strategy or not? Is the plan details enough? Did we outline the goals in it? Did we outline the channels? Did we outline the expected results? And after that, what about plan execution? You can go to the operation, and this is more like an operational audit. You are saying, are the people who implemented the social media plan actually followed the plan? Is it implemented in an effective way? Is it implemented in an efficient way? were we actually able to achieve the social media goals, and where were these goals were able to help us in achieving the business objective or not. So this is, we can do it in plan execution. Social media audits, the same thing for metrics. Do we have the right, what we call it, monitoring items? Are we actually monitoring the right thing? Because we can monitor a lot of things in social media, but are we actually focusing on the right thing? In Facebook, most of the people, they say how many likes we have on our Facebook, but I don't like that. In Facebook, there's a very important thing. How many people are talking about you is more important than how many likes you have. Because maybe you'll have a lot of people, they are talking about you, they are sharing the message, but actually they don't like your page. So you need to understand which metrics I need to focus on when I'm measuring something. What about monitoring? Are we actually inside our company putting this monitoring? Are we creating these alerts? Are we getting information about who's talking about us? What about training? Are we providing our staff with the right training? Are we providing them with the training about the new and advanced tools, about the new techniques? What about social media policy? Do we have the right policy inside the company or not? And finally, related to regulatory and compliance. Are we really meeting the needs of regulatory and compliance department, as well as any rules outside the company? So in general, social media